the Sales on Demand Show, episode 10. Hi, everybody. It's Adam, and we're back with episode 10 of the Sales on Demand Show. We're talking about how to create, sustain, and scale up your print on demand business with the latest tips, guides, and information to help you start selling and making money today. You can find us on the interwebs at salesondemandshow.com. This is episode 10, take 2. If you're wondering what that means, I've already recorded this episode and I'm re-recording it because I was using the wrong microphone and it sounded terrible. So I can't have that. I'm a perfectionist, which is definitely not one of my better traits, but it is one of the things that I want. I need it to sound good, and now it does because I've got all the settings right. So hey, we're talking about Amazon again. So last time we talked about getting started on Amazon. So by now you should already have an Etsy store and an Amazon store. You should have had your first couple of sales on Etsy. We just had Valentine's Day. So if you were on the ball, you probably made a couple of sales using a Valentine's Day themed design. I talked about the things that that are trending now. You know, we talked about sort of the rude designs or the trendy designs, and I told you how to go out and research to find more ideas to make designs. And hopefully you took my advice and did it. If not, if you're just starting from fresh, hey, it's okay. We got lots of holidays coming up. So Valentine's Day, it's not even really a huge holiday. It's just kind of this very short period of time to earn a little bit of money after Christmas. And most people who are doing print on demand, they just sort of forget about it. So now we got Easter, we got Father's Day and Mother's Day, but not in that order. Mother's Day comes first, then Father's Day. So Mother's Day is in May, Father's Day is in June. But don't think to yourself, oh, that's months away. I got lots of time. No, you got to start now. There's no better time to start than right this very second, because you can't start thinking about Father's Day sales on, the Saturday before Father's Day. That's way too late. So if you start thinking about it in February, you might be ready in time. So this is, I believe, part 5 or 6, I can't remember exactly, of the Getting Started guide that I'm putting together for people who they just need to get their foot in the door. We talked about Amazon last time, and I told you, you need to be patient with Amazon because it takes some time to kind of gain the trust with Amazon that is very necessary for you to get your first couple of sales. Now today, we're going to be talking about some slightly more advanced Amazon strategies. And this is a great episode to listen to if you've already been selling on Amazon for a little bit, you have a couple of sales under your belt, even if it's just a couple of sales. Listen to what I'm telling you and maybe even bookmark this episode to come back to later, because I'm going to be giving you some tips to help you really scale up your Amazon sales. Now remember, I told you Amazon is 50% of online retail sales. Everybody in the world has an Amazon Prime account, and everybody in the world trusts Amazon. To be a seller on Amazon, you gotta sell by Amazon's rules. So it's a little bit more strict than Etsy. You can set your own policies on Etsy. You can say no refunds, no returns, nothing. On Amazon, you can't do that. When you sell on Amazon and you create a listing, Amazon owns that listing, and they're just giving you permission to sell that product. It's kind of weird when you think about it, but that's the way it works. And you know what? Amazon has treated me well, and I'm pretty happy to be selling on Amazon because I know the rules and I play by the rules. So, without further ado, let us dive right into Amazon print-on-demand strategies for mid to advanced sellers. So, one of the scariest things that you can do. And one of the things that I did that really took me from being a novice to kind of a mid-level seller is to hire a virtual assistant. Unlike with Etsy, Amazon does not care if you hire somebody to do stuff. So, hiring a virtual assistant, or VA for short, sounds intimidating, but it is not that difficult to do. So, I'll tell you what I did, and I'll give you some advice on how to hire somebody and what you should hire them to do. So, the first thing is, what should you hire someone to do? The best thing to hire someone to do, sorry, I said that really weird. The best thing to hire someone to, I just said the same thing. All right, so apparently I have marbles in my mouth. You want to hire someone to do things that you don't know how to do or that you hate doing. There we go. So what I hired someone to do is I hired a lady from Malaysia to upload designs to Gearbubble. So I gave her access to a Dropbox folder, which was really easy to do. I just sent her an invite by email. You can look up how to do that. It's super easy to do. And then I put designs in there. So I put the file, and the title of the file was the title that I wanted to be uploaded with the file as the design title. And when she did that, it would just port over to Amazon, and that was it. So I paid her 20 cents per upload to do that. And I found her on Upwork.com. So basically what I did is created a job, and I said I need someone to upload files to a server and enter in a title and click a few more buttons, and that's it. I will pay 20 cents per design, per file, and I will explain how to do it. So I made a screen capture video of me doing it on the computer, and then I sent it to the person who, I sent it to a couple of people, but ultimately I just kind of picked this lady out of the blue. It looked good, and it turned out to be a good decision because she uploaded probably 1,500 designs for me and did them all flawlessly, which was great. So that was one of the most tedious things for me. It still is one of the most tedious things. I have a folder filled with designs that I just have not bothered to upload yet because I hate sitting there and clicking the buttons because it's really repetitive and tedious. And once you start creating designs and you have lots of ideas and you got to upload them, it slows you down to have to sit there and go through the upload process. It's just so mind-numbing. So I hired this lady to do it, and it really saved me a ton of time, and also it motivated me to keep creating because she was fast. I don't know if she was sitting there all day with nothing else to do, but hey, that's cool with me. So she would email me back, and she's like, oh, I uploaded those 100 designs for you. And I'm like, oh, crap, I guess I should start creating some more designs for you to upload. So she kept me on my toes with the creation side, and I'm definitely going to be rehiring her or somebody like her very soon here, probably beginning of March. So that's a virtual assistant. You can also hire a virtual assistant to create new designs. This is a little bit more difficult because you're not hiring somebody for their sort of button clicking skills now. Now you're hiring them for their sort of design skills. And teaching somebody how to design, it's not easy. Like, it's easy to hire somebody who knows too much about design and pay too much for each design. Because you really don't need fancy, super fancy, elaborate designs. You just don't. The phrase is what matters. Now, what you can do is you can create a spreadsheet with a bunch of phrases on it, and you can sort of give some standard advice about formatting, make it centered, etc. And then get your VA going on that and see how they do. Pay them, I don't know, 50 cents per design, and then you can even pay them to upload it and take the whole thing right off your plate. That's if you've got some money to spend and you want to, send somebody out there to just create for you. Now, I know somebody who did this, and he is just killing it on Amazon with print on demand using gearbubble.com. And he's part of a coaching group that I'm part of as well, the Low Hanging System. And he's also just destroying it with paid traffic. Like, he's doing far, far, far more money in paid traffic than I have ever seen. $2 million a month using Amazon or Facebook ads. But I'm not talking about the Facebook ads now. We're talking about the Amazon side. So he's also doing well with the Amazon side. I think something like 2,000 sales a month is what he said. So that's really good. And he has 54,000 listings on Amazon, and they're all things that someone else did and just he paid them to do it. And he is a master at just hiring somebody to do it. And he is Asian, of course. I say of course because he's savvy at business, and I see that Asians tend to be savvy at business. So that's not a negative stereotype, guys. It's just what I see. So be more like the Asians. Be savvy at business. So yeah, that's a guy who's really killing it using a virtual assistant to do everything for him. So, moving on. So on Amazon, once you win the buy box, and I talked about the buy box last time, that's it's a sign of trust from Amazon when you win the buy box. It means that your account is sort of past the novice and you're now into like sort of trusted. What you can do, because the buy box means that you can now use advertising. So Amazon has its own advertising system. It's internal ads, just like Etsy, except it's a little bit more complicated because there's different types of advertising you can do, and there are a million ways to manage your advertising things. But the first thing that you can do is start a pay-per-click campaign for absolutely everything you've ever designed. Every listing you've got, throw it into one campaign. Now, this sounds like a bad idea, and anybody who does advertising on Amazon will say, oh, don't do that. But I'm telling you, do this. Put it on automatic bid and set a bid cap of about 15 to 20 cents, depending on how aggressive you want to be. You can go a little higher than that. The higher you go, the more likely that you'll waste money on clicks. But the lower you go, the fewer people will see the ads. So what the bid is essentially you're telling Amazon how serious you are about them showing your product based on a search result. It's complicated. Don't worry about the complexities of it. Just start a pay-per-click campaign, automatic bid, and put every product in there. Put a 15-cent bid and let her go. Honestly, just let her go. And maybe 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks later, you'll start seeing that there's clicks and maybe even a sale or two on that automatic campaign. And what I've noticed on this particular type of campaign is you just get random sales, and they're usually profitable sales. Depending on the time of year, it's usually a profitable way to make a couple of extra sales. So what I consider profitable is if I make $1 on a sale, that's profitable. I don't care if I make $1, $2, or $6, or $10. If I'm making any money whatsoever on a sale, it's a good sale. Now, obviously, I want to make more than $1 or 50 cents on a sale, but if it starts at $1 and I can do better than that, then that's a good starting point. I'll take a dollar in profit. I don't care. I didn't have to work for it. I didn't have to go out there and, mop the floor of my local convenience store. I mean, it's passive income, right? So $1 of profit is worth it. So basically, for a coffee mug, which is mostly what I sell, if I can make the sale and pay less than 35% for the advertising, then the sale was profitable. So you'll see something in your campaign called ACOS. Now, I don't want to confuse you with a bunch of stuff. ACOS is just average cost of sale. That's what ACoS means. And it's basically how much you paid Amazon in advertising to make that sale, or the average cost per sale on that campaign. So if your ACoS is under 20%, that is fantastic. Keep that campaign going, because Amazon loves sales. And if you're a new seller, you've got to gain the trust of Amazon. You've got to start showing Amazon that your products are good and that you can sell. And getting more sales is always good. And it's also a good way to find out what kinds of products that you might be selling that, might not have done well without paid advertising, but maybe getting one or two sales through paid advertising kind of starts the fire under that product to rank it up. So that's what I recommend. Start a pay-per-click campaign for everything you've got. Auto bid 15 cents. So the fourth thing that you can do is look at your stats. Very few people do that, and I'm always surprised when people say, oh, I don't look at my stats, because I'm always looking at my stats. I am a statistics nerd, and I'll tell you, nothing has done as well for me as looking at my stats to see what people are looking at. So on Amazon, if you're paying for the professional account, and I recommend that you do, you know what? That $40 is an investment. I know a lot of people cringe at that, but you know what? If you want to go big, we'll go big. If you don't, go home. That's what I say. Go big or go home. Anyway, if you've got the Amazon professional seller account, you've got access to statistics, and you can see what people are looking at. And what you're looking at is sessions. So that's clicks. People who clicked on and looked at your item. So you'll see the number of sessions, and you can actually sort by descending. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go in there and start playing around with it. You'll see it pretty quick, and you'll see which listings are getting the most views. And if something's getting a lot of views but not sales, that's an indication to me that this is a wide open niche, but that people are looking at the product and they don't like it. So maybe that item is ranking okay. People are clicking on it and looking at it, but they're not buying it for some reason. So maybe I'll make a new version of that with a different phrase. Like I said, the phrase is the most important part of any design. The layout or the template or whatever you want to call it is a distant second. So do not spend a lot of time making fancy templates and making arched words and adding in a bunch of graphics. Do text designs with 1 or 2 or 3 fonts maximum. And just throw up as many as you can, because that is the way to start making sales. I'm telling you this. I know you're not going to believe me, because no one ever does. But I'm telling you the truth. Just throw up the ugly designs up there and see what happens. So, looking at your stats, eventually you'll start seeing sales, and you'll be able to see which products are getting sales relative to the number of views. And when you see something that's getting a lot of views and maybe a couple of sales, to me that's an indicator that that item is ripe to send in for FBA. So what is FBA? If you already know what FBA is, just sit tight. I'm going to explain it really quickly for those who don't know. But FBA stands for Fulfillment by Amazon. And basically what you're doing is you're taking a proven design, you're printing 36 or whatever of those designs. For me, it's coffee mugs. That's basically what I sell on Amazon. But it could be anything. It could be tumblers. It could be T-shirts. It could be travel mugs, shot glasses, whatever, coasters. You can do print-on-demand coasters. But you send in a certain number of those to Amazon, and then Amazon ships it out when it sells. And the beauty of FBA is that if you're selling a few without FBA, you will sell more with FBA. FBA automatically gets a rankings boost because it gets the Prime badge. and it gets 2-day shipping for anybody who has a Prime account. Free 2-day shipping. Us Canadians, unfortunately, we don't get free 2-day shipping because Canada sucks. I'm sorry. Canada doesn't suck. Our postal service sucks. Canada's awesome, but Canada Post is a flaming dumpster fire. And if you live in Canada, you probably cannot deny that Canada Post sucks. The U.S. Postal Service is a little bit better. But anyway, anybody who has Amazon Prime gets 2-day shipping, and that is a huge boost because people shopping on Amazon, they're impatient. They want this yesterday. So they'll click on your product and they'll click to buy, and Amazon will ship the box, or they'll ship the mug out, and it'll be there in 2 days. And to be honest with you, most of the sales that I make on Amazon are FBA. I have been just killing it with FBA. I'm doing about 10, 11, 12 sales per day right now. And it's not a very busy time right now. It's just after Valentine's Day, and I'm still doing a lot of FBA sales because, you know, even though Christmas is the prime time for print on demand, I mean, the rest of the year, people are still going to be buying the things that you have to sell if you have good designs out there. They just won't be buying in the numbers that you'll see at Christmas. So right now is a great time to test ideas out, see what's working, see what's not working, throw up as many designs as you can. So when you find something that's really working well on Amazon, you send it in for FBA. Now I'm actually going to be creating a course on how to do this and how to select which designs to send in, because there's a process to do it. If you select the wrong design, you're going to spend $200, well, Canadian, yeah, probably about $200 US to print a box of coffee mugs and send it to Amazon, and they'll sit there. And the Amazon charges you for anything that's been sitting in the warehouse, and especially if it's been there for more than 6 months. The fees are really high after 6 months. I think it's actually a year now. I could be wrong. But you definitely do not want something that is not going to sell, because although FBA is great, picking the wrong product for FBA is just going to waste your money. And that's a lot of money to waste, especially if you're a new seller. I mean, $200 for me, if I lose $200, I'm not going to cry about it. I've lost $200 many, many times before in this business, and I'm making $200 a day basically, so it really isn't the end of the world. But you don't want to waste that money sending a design that's not going to sell. So I am coming up with a course on how to pick designs for FBA. It's not ready to be released yet, but it's kind of in the pipeline. So watch out for that. You'll hear about it when I'm ready for it. So hopefully you guys have learned something in this episode. These are a little bit more advanced techniques. So if you're not ready to get into this, bookmark this episode and come back to it later, or make some notes or something like that, and just be ready to use these strategies once you start making sales on Amazon, because you can scale up pretty quickly. Once you get past that new seller stage on Amazon, it looks good. And right now, it's a perfect time to start doing this, getting ready for Christmas, which is miles away, but you know what? It's going to come faster than you think. The years stop coming and they don't stop coming, as that terrible song goes. So I want to say thank you to everybody who's been commenting on the website. This show is exploding, much more than I could have expected. And all of you guys who are listening, thank you so much. Keep sending those messages in. You know, if you want to hear something about a particular topic, let me know. I'm always willing to look into some person's business and give them advice on something. But you better be prepared. If you want me to give you advice on your business, I'm going to be doing it for everybody. So I'll be doing it on the show in sort of a generic way. So I had a listener send me and I'm not going to give any information about his Instagram site, but he asked me about how to monetize his Instagram account. So he has a really big Instagram account. It's a really well put together Instagram account. Lots of followers. I think he has like 170,000 followers or something like that. And he's like, "How do I monetize this?" And I was like, "Well, I will think about that, and I will come up with some ideas." Now, I've never used Instagram to sell print on demand, but I know that there are people out there who are doing this. So, next week, I'm going to talk about alternative traffic sources and how to make sales using like Instagram, Pinterest, using Facebook pages, how to do all that. We'll just briefly dip into that. I mean, each one of those could be its own show, really. Probably will be its own show at some point. But just as a getting started guide, we'll just quickly go into that. But hopefully you guys are now selling on both Etsy and Amazon. I might put a episode about eBay, but I don't really do much eBay. To be honest with you, eBay was kind of a loser for me. I know some people do sell print on demand on eBay, but I didn't like eBay. eBay was kind of garbage. eBay is the Canada Post of online selling platforms, and that is not a compliment for eBay. So I do Amazon and Etsy, and what's working for me is what I continue to work on. So once you see something working for you guys, once you see a few sales on a platform, like, go hard on that platform. Don't get distracted by the next thing or this thing or that thing. Once you see something working for you, spend more time expanding on that, because you'll get far more mileage out of that than you will by chasing the next butterfly down the road. So, on that note, I'll tell you about a decision that I have to make here. I have an opportunity to buy a piece of software that will help my Amazon account and potentially make me a lot of money, but the piece of software is really pricey. And I think it's probably worth the price, but I have to go and look at my budget and see if I'm ready and willing to spend $1,000 a month on a piece of software, plus the advertising costs. So, yeah, I'll let you guys know next episode if I actually did that. I'm still kind of on the fence about it. I've been doing really well on Amazon, using nothing but my own brain cells to work through, adding designs and stuff like that. I've never used any expensive tools or anything like that. I do have some tools. I have an account with Merchant Words, and I have Bindwise. That's basically it. That plus the integration that I have with GearBubble are the software tools that really do the best for me. Well, I have QuickBooks and stuff like that too. That costs money, but that's just for accounting purposes. You don't need that right away. So don't get caught up, guys, with looking at expensive software tools. You don't need expensive software tools to make Amazon work for you. The only thing I really recommend is a professional seller account and some kind of integration. So you can use gearbubble.com, you can use Printful, they have an integration. You can use Print Tech if you want to do customized, personalized designs. Print Tech actually has a personalization integration. It's $20 a month though. So if you're going to use personalization, you got to make a lot of designs to make it worthwhile. So actually, I believe next episode I am going to talk about personalization on Etsy and Amazon, because personalized products are just killing it. I mean, it's the way to make your first sale. If you've never made a sale, a personalized product is probably your fastest way to do it. So keep on leaving those messages, guys. Send me an email, send me a message, send me a messenger bird with a note tied around its leg. Do whatever you can, but get out there and start taking action. And with that, I will wish you a wonderful February evening. Cheers.